Every morning we're given a gift and a new beginning. But often we step into the day carrying yesterday's noise, today's fears, and tomorrow's worries. What if instead we could begin with wisdom, ancient wisdom that guides our thoughts, sharpens our perception, and softens our hearts? In this video, we'll explore 10 powerful Stoic quotes, not just to memorize, but to live. Each one carries the power to shift your mindset, reshape your habits, and root you in calm strength. Please like this video if it brings you value, and in the comments below, share which quote speaks to you the most. Your insight might be what someone else needs to read today. Now, let's begin. Quote 1. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius. You could leave life right now. Let those words sink in, not as a threat, not as something dark or heavy, but as a truth, quiet, ancient, and freeing. Every breath you take is a gift. Every sunrise is not owed to you. You were never promised another morning, another conversation, another moment to love, to forgive, or to begin again. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man of his time, reminded himself of this truth daily. Even he needed the reminder that life is fragile, temporary, not under his control. He wrote this not for others, but for himself, so that he could live with intention, not distraction, so that he could speak with kindness, not anger, so that he could act with urgency, not delay. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Let it determine how you enter today. Let it shape how you treat others. Let it clarify what truly matters. If today were your last day, would you still complain? Would you spend hours comparing your life to someone else's? Would you bury your dreams one more time under fear and doubt? Or would you call someone just to say, I love you? Would you forgive someone who hurt you? Not because they deserve it, but because you no longer want to carry that weight? Would you do the thing you've been postponing? Because deep down, it's the thing that makes you feel alive? This quote is a mirror. It reflects your habits, your choices, your distractions. It asks you, gently but firmly, not to wake up, to stop sleepwalking through your days, to stop assuming there will always be more time. You could leave life right now, not in fear, but in truth. Let that truth not paralyze you, but awaken you to beauty, to purpose, to everything you're capable of becoming. Quote 2. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Your mind is powerful, but that power can either become your prison or your path to peace. Seneca, the Roman philosopher and statesman, knew this well. He saw how the human mind can create endless suffering, long before anything bad actually happens. How? By imagining it, by rehearsing pain that hasn't come, by fearing things that may never arrive. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. How many times have you lost sleep over a scenario that never unfolded? How often do you brace for judgment, for failure, for rejection, only to realize that none of it was real? Your body feels stress. Your heart races. You feel fear rising, not because of what's happening, but because of what you think might happen. The Stoics teach us that the mind, and when left unchecked, invents threats. It creates imaginary enemies. It floods us with worry, with doubt, with fear. But what if, instead of living in imaginary pain, you return to what is? Right now, in this moment, is there anything actually wrong? Can you see, hear, feel the present, and without judgment, you're here, breathing, listening, safe. And even if hardship is present, is it truly as unbearable as the mind once imagined it? Seneca's quote invites you to separate what's real from what's made up in thought. It teaches you to become a watcher of your mind, not a victim of it. Because once you can recognize the stories your fear is telling you, you can begin to edit the script. You can stop fighting shadows and start living with clarity. So ask yourself, what fear am I rehearsing that hasn't happened? What story am I telling myself, and is it true? What would happen if I let that story go? We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This quote is not an insult, it's an invitation to trust the present, to challenge your thoughts, to stop borrowing pain from a future that doesn't exist. You are stronger than the stories you've been telling yourself. And peace, real peace, begins the moment you stop running from the imaginary. Quote 3. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. What if today you measured success, not by how much you got done, but by how closely your actions matched your values? Not by what others said about you, but by what you said and whether it was true. Not by how efficient you were, but by whether you lived honestly, quietly, courageously, and without compromise. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. These words from Marcus Aurelius are not dramatic, they're not loud, but they are sharp, like a compass that doesn't waver. In a world filled with noise, opinion, flattery, and performance, this quote brings us back to center, back to principle, back to simplicity, back to the quiet, powerful discipline of integrity. Integrity is not something you post. It's not something you declare. It's something you live, in silence, in small moments, in the unseen corners of your day. Do you do the right thing when no one is watching? Do you speak with honesty, even when the truth is uncomfortable? When you're faced with an easy lie, do you choose the harder truth? Each day presents hundreds of these moments, a choice to speak with kindness or sarcasm, a chance to help someone or ignore them, an opportunity to honor your values or betray them for convenience. The Stoics remind us that virtue is the only good, and this quote is a test and a mirror, or a challenge. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. It doesn't matter how big or small the action. It matters whether it reflects the kind of person you want to become. So ask yourself right now, what am I tolerating that goes against my values? Where have I been silent when I should have spoken with truth? What action today can I take that feels right, even if it's not easy? Integrity isn't perfection. It's alignment between your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And every small act of honesty, every choice to do what's right over what's easy, it makes you stronger, wiser, and more at peace with the person you see in the mirror. Let this quote be your guidepost for the day ahead. Quote 4. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Epictetus. We live in a world of longing, endless scrolls, endless goals, endless comparisons. We chase the next thing, the promotion, the relationship, the body, the status, believing that happiness lives somewhere just out of reach, always out there, never quite here. But then Epictetus speaks and gently brings us home. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This is not denial, this is not settling, this is wisdom. To rejoice for what you already have, or not just intellectually but fully, is to step into a kind of joy that cannot be taken away. Gratitude anchors us in the present. It says, this moment is enough. This breath is a gift. This life, with all its imperfection, is already filled with things worth celebrating. Have you noticed how easy it is to forget the things you once prayed for? The roof over your head, the meal in front of you, the friend who listens, the body that wakes up, even if it aches, the chance to try again. Gratitude is not about having everything, it's about seeing everything clearly. About remembering that abundance isn't always material. Sometimes it's emotional, spiritual, relational, and it's already here. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. So take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I deeply thankful for right now in this very moment? Who in my life brings quiet joy? What simple gift do I overlook every single day? Epictetus reminds us that contentment is a decision, not a destination. And the wisest people are not the ones who collect the most, but the ones who learn how to celebrate what they already hold. Right now, before you move on, name 3 things right here, right now, that you're grateful for. Say them out loud, write them down, feel them. Because the more you rejoice in what you have, the less power the world has to convince you that you're missing something. And that is real wisdom. Quote 5. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Epictetus. Let those words echo for a moment, not in your ears, but in your soul. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? This isn't a motivational slogan. This is a challenge, one that pierces through all your excuses, delays, distractions. How long are you going to wait? Another Monday? Another new year? Another someday that never comes? The Stoics knew the human tendency to postpone, to delay what truly matters, to wait until the timing feels perfect. But perfection never comes. And in waiting, we quietly waste our lives. What Epictetus is asking here is not just about ambition, it's about your standard. What are you willing to tolerate in your own behavior? How long will you coast through days filled with half effort, half discipline, half awareness? How long will you settle for sleepwalking through your routines? Ignoring your body, your mind, your spirit? How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? This quote isn't loud, it doesn't scream, but it does interrupt. It stops you right where you are and says, enough. Enough of waiting for motivation to magically appear. Enough of hoping without acting. Enough of promising yourself next week. The best of you isn't found in convenience. It's found in consistency. It's found in discipline. It's found when you wake up, tired, discouraged, distracted, and choose to show up anyway. You are capable of more than comfort. You are meant for growth. So ask yourself today, what is one good habit I can begin right now without delay? What standard have I been afraid to raise because I knew it would require effort? Where in my life have I accepted less when I know I was made for more? Don't wait for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There is only now and your decision to meet it with courage. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? That quote ends here, but its question doesn't. Quote 6. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. At first, this quote sounds like a paradox. The thing that blocks you actually helps you move forward. The obstacle is not the enemy, but the path. And yet this is one of the core teachings of Stoicism, that life's challenges aren't interruptions to the journey, they are the journey. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When something blocks your plan, it doesn't mean life is broken. It means life is teaching, shaping, calling you to adapt, to evolve, to dig deeper. Marcus Aurelius didn't just write this as a poetic idea. He lived it. Wars, plagues, betrayals, personal grief, political chaos. He faced it all. And instead of crumbling, he learned. He turned every difficulty into discipline, every loss into clarity, every setback into a new direction forward. This quote is not just about resilience, it's about transformation. Because obstacles don't just slow you down, they reveal who you are. They strip away the superficial and expose your true character. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think of a challenge you're facing right now, something that feels unfair, inconvenient, painful, or heavy. Now ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What strength is being built inside me through this struggle? How can I stop fighting the difficulty and start walking with it? The Stoics never said life would be smooth. They said you could be strong. They said you could be wise. They said that if you chose the right perspective, the hardest thing in your life could become the most meaningful. This is not about glorifying suffering. It's about reclaiming power in the face of it. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Let that quote settle into your mind like a seed, because with time, with practice, it grows roots. And when the next obstacle comes, you'll recognize it, not as a wall, but as a doorway. Quote 7. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. You don't need to declare who you are. You don't need to convince the world of your principles. You don't even need to argue your point. You only need to live it. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. In a world obsessed with appearance, with showing, proving, preaching, and persuading, this quote is a return to essence. It's not about what you say. It's about what you do, consistently, quietly, and without applause. You say you value patience, but do your words show it? You say you value discipline, but do your habits prove it? You say you're committed to growth, but do you actually embrace discomfort? The Stoics understood something timeless. True character needs no introduction, no bio, no badge, no explanation. It's felt in your choices, in your presence, in the way you show up when no one is watching. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Imagine how your life would shift if every day you asked, what do my actions say about my values today? Am I living in alignment with what I say I believe? If someone watched me but never heard me speak, what would they learn about me? Quiet strength is louder than loud opinions. Kindness, restraint, and consistency. These whisper something much deeper than slogans ever could. There is no need to lecture others into understanding. Just live your values. Be the proof. Let your life become the lesson. The people who impact the world the most rarely talk about what they believe. They simply live in a way that makes others believe too. So today, don't explain, don't convince, don't perform. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Let the life you live be the philosophy you preach. Quote 8. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus freedom. We all crave it, but too often we misunderstand it. We think freedom is about doing what we want, when we want, without limits. But the Stoics saw it differently. They believed that true freedom isn't external, it's internal. It's not about escaping rules, it's about rising above impulses. No man is free who is not master of himself. You are not free if your emotions control you. You are not free if your cravings dictate your choices. You are not free if your days are shaped by every distraction, urge, and external noise. Self-mastery, not self-indulgence, is the path to inner liberation. Because when you can say no to what weakens you, you create space for what strengthens you. When you can delay gratification, you build a deeper, more lasting joy. When you choose consistency over chaos, you give yourself the structure to breathe more freely. No man is free who is not master of himself. This is not about rigid control. It's about choosing to respond, not react, to move with intention, not instinct, to lead your life instead of being led by every passing mood. Ask yourself, in what area of my life do I need to regain inner authority? Where am I still a prisoner to old patterns, unchecked habits, or emotional reflexes? What does freedom look like for me? Not in theory, but in practice. Because when you begin to master yourself, you no longer fear the outside world. You no longer depend on it for peace or meaning or direction. You become grounded, steady, quietly powerful, and that's the kind of freedom no one can take from you. No man is free who is not master of himself. Let this be your invitation to turn inward, to take responsibility, and to choose freedom through discipline. Because the person who governs themselves needs no ruler. Quote 9. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius. This is not an invitation to be harsh with yourself. It is a call to higher standards for your actions, your thoughts, your habits. Because you are the only person whose behavior you can truly control. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. People will disappoint you. They will act out of emotion. They will make mistakes, just like you do, just like you will. But Marcus Aurelius, a man burdened with the responsibility of ruling an empire, understood this deeply, that judging others harshly weakens you. Expecting perfection from them creates suffering, but demanding excellence from yourself, that creates character. He held himself to the flame of virtue, discipline, honesty, humility, but with others. He met them with patience, with grace, with understanding, because how someone else behaves is not your responsibility, but how you respond always is. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. So ask yourself today, where can I show more patience with those around me? Who in my life deserves more compassion than critique? And where in my life can I raise my standard, not to be perfect, but to be principled? This is the essence of Stoicism, a commitment to mastery over your own soul, not control over someone else's. Show grace, show effort. That's the balance. That's the practice. Quote 10. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Epictetus. You are not disturbed by events. You are disturbed by what you believe about them. This moment is not inherently bad or good. It simply is. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Is it an insult or a moment to breathe and let go? You lose a job, miss an opportunity, hear criticism. Is it failure or redirection? We suffer not because life happens, but because of the story we attach to what happens. Your power lies not in controlling events, but in mastering your perspective. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Pause for a moment. Think about something that recently upset you. Not just the surface emotion, but what you told yourself about it. Did you assume the worst? Did you make it personal? Did you label it as unfair? Now ask yourself, can I change the way I'm seeing this? Is there another lens, one that brings peace instead of pain? Am I letting this situation define me or refine me? You can't always change the event, but you can always change the meaning, and often that's more than enough. So the next time something disturbs you, before you react, pause. Reclaim your power. Remember Epictetus's words. Remember that between stimulus and response, you are free. Stoicism is not about being cold. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about standing rooted when the winds of life blow hard. It's about returning again and again to what you can control, your thoughts, your values, your response. These quotes are not decorations for your wall. They are tools, sharp, ancient, and ready for use. Use them in the morning, before the world pulls you in 100 directions. Whisper them in stressful moments, when your mind begins to spiral. Let them become part of your rhythm, your quiet anchor in a loud, uncertain world. So now I ask, which of these Stoic insights spoke to your spirit the most? Let me know in the comments, and not just for me, but for the person who might read your words and find exactly what they needed. If you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to join this space, a place for quiet wisdom, steady growth, and honest reflection. Until next time, stay present, stay grounded, and remember, wisdom is not a destination, it is a daily practice.